Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining me today. So today we're just going to go over a few things that I've implemented for the mission as far as our safety board, fire extinguishers, everything that's out there. So first I'd like to start with this short prayer. So Lord, we ask that you grant us safety, grant us a blessing of at our safety luncheon today. Let our discussions be wholesome. May our spirits be lifted because of fellowship and time we share. May we honor you with hearts of obedience and words that are full of truth and love. Please bless the employees and volunteers and keep us all in your loving arms. So most of you know me, and my name is Jody, and I've been doing safety for 9 years. And the Lord truly has blessed me being able to come here to make sure everything's in place for you guys, for the mission, for everyone. So it is truly a blessing. And first and foremost, I would truly like to thank each and every one of you for working safely. I know that there's been a few things that have been lacking, but overall, everybody seems to be doing a really good job watching out for each other, their own safety, etc. So that, I thank you very much for. So first I'm going to explain the safety board. So it is law by Occupational Health and Safety that every business has a safety board posted. Workers must have access to important information regarding their health and safety. So this is in case of emergencies, they must know what to do and who to call. So the board is used to inform workers of potential hazards and to monitor and improve workplace health and safety. Okay, so first we'll go over, every workplace should post an active emergency response plan or an ERP. So this is our emergency response plan. So it goes over everything that we have to do in case of emergencies, calling 911, our first on scene for STARS, if STARS does have to come to site. All right, so I won't read over all that because I don't have time for that today, but that's something you guys can look over on your own time and just get familiar with that. Also, I have posted pictures, because everybody knows what to spot for in a stroke. So this is just a reminder, okay, so we can keep care of each other, also for a heart attack, etc. And one big question, everybody raise their hands who knows where the muster point is located.
Over there.
Over there, very good, yes, okay, that's good. That's a big one, everybody has to know where it is located. So I put up the site map, and on each site map, so we have one at the front door, one at the back door. There's one just outside the swinging doors here, and of course one here. And I have put on everything where the first aid stations are located, the fire extinguishers, where the muster point is located, and of course this gives you the route wherever you are in the building on how to get out to that muster point. Okay. All right, so does everybody know the difference between a near miss and an incident? Okay, we'll go over that. So what I've done here is I made up some new incident and near miss reports. So in the top you'll see if it, oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Just here. In the top you'll see if it's an injury, illness, environmental, or if it's a near miss. Okay, so this is the paperwork you'll need to fill out if something happens to anyone on site. So, a near miss is an event that could potentially have resulted in a negative outcome. In other words, it is an event that could have been an accident if there was a slight change. Or the near miss can be attributed to human error, faulty safety systems, or inadequate processes. So anything you would call a narrow miss, a close call, or a near hit could be documented as a near miss. An incident, on the other hand, is an unintended event that could lead to or has led to damage, injury, or health. Occupational Health and Safety defines an incident as an unplanned, undesired event that adversely affects the completion of a task. So my job as a safety professional and the management is to find the root cause of the problem and to fix that root cause so that it doesn't happen again. Okay? So I'll give you a little quick example here. So let's say, for instance, that a worker has accidentally spilled some grease while performing maintenance on some of the machinery on the shop floor. Another employee walking across the worksite fails to notice the spill and slips on it. So if the employee steadies himself and avoids the fall or injury, this qualifies as a near miss. But if the employee, however, slips and falls and hurts themselves onto the ground, that would be considered an incident. Okay? All right, so I've also made up first aid reports, okay? So even if you consider it to be a minor thing, like twisting an ankle, cutting yourself on a box cutter, it's important to report this to your employer. So the reason for this is down the road, if something happens, say you twisted your ankle and you end up having to go to emergency for that, first thing they're gonna say, where's the documentation on this? Where's your paperwork? So very important that you guys document anything that happens for the mission and further down the road. So there's a few reasons why people choose not to document something. Embarrassment, they're worrying about being fired or not considered for future jobs, loss of respect from the coworkers or being labeled a complainer, being unsure if the injury is work-related, and believe that the incident reporting is a waste of time. It's never a waste of time. On my side of it, it is never a waste of time, so please make sure you are reporting that. All right. So I'm just gonna do a little talk right now, just on fire safety, and this is from the actual manual from the mission, okay? So all mission stores are equipped with smoke detectors, fire pole alarms, and sprinkler systems. Should any of this equipment be activated because of a fire, all workers must leave the premises immediately using the nearest exit door. Workers should know the location of the closest fire extinguishers. So again, this is using our site maps. All the fire extinguishers are labeled where they are in the store. The outside hose standpipe, the pull fire alarm boxes, emergency exit doors, emergency contact list. So right here, I made up emergency contact list. So it's got the local fire department, the local police department, the poison control, and then all of anybody who on site who's responsible for any emergencies.
Do you have that list posted? I can print it out of that as well.
I don't, but I will. I will for sure. Alrighty, so it's very important that if we do have a fire or emergency in here, that everybody remains calm. That's the biggest thing. When everybody freaks out, that's when mayhem happens. So we have incident reporters, incident commanders, incident commanders they're called. So that would be Karen or Colin. They're going to be in charge. And I noticed the other day, and I don't know where they went, he had ordered some vests that reflective vests that actually say incident commander. So they're going to be in charge. They're going to keep everybody calm. Everybody's going to walk to the door and be calm. And if it is a worker with a disability, make sure that they're taken care of, that there's a buddy system, that their workers are with them, and get them out safely. So I've also posted right here, it's just hanging on the wall. I don't have enough time to go over this today, but the AED machine that is posted is just outside there. It's important that everybody knows how to use that in case of emergency. But really, technically, only first aiders or the incident commander should be the ones that are administering CPR with the AED machine. But if for some reason they're not here, no, I'm not sure what to say about that one. I think Karen and Colin are always here. So, and there's always first aiders here. So all full-time employees of the mission will shortly, fingers crossed, be acquiring their first aid, okay? Right now, I've posted, we have Joanne and Andrea are only full-time qualified CPR first aid on site. If any volunteers have their first aid, feel free to let me know and I can add you to the list so we are aware who has their first aid here on site. All right, so I put into place the use of a harness and a lanyard in the back. I'm sure that everybody's seen us trying to figure that out right now. It's been a little bit of a battle, but we're getting there. So I do ask that Russ and Paul and who else, Bobby, are the ones that are trained with the harness to go up the ladder. So if anybody needs to put anything up high or get anything down, please make sure you contact one of them because they will put on the harness and do the job for you. All right. So all medications such as Advil, Tylenol, etc., everybody knows is located in Colin's office, but I have put a sign-out sheet in there for that. The reason is because if you take medication and you have an adverse reaction to it and we have to call EMS, first thing they're going to ask is what has the person taken? Well, if you just go take it and we have no record of it, we have no idea what to tell them. So it's very important that you sign out on the sheet what was given to you and what the dosage was for the EMS. All first aid kits now have first aid log sheet. So the reason I put that into place is just because, I'm not sure everyone's here, but so this is our main first aid station. Just helps us if you take a Band-Aid or cotton, anything out of there, it helps us to be able to see what was taken out, to be able to restock it, so the first aid kits are always stocked up. WHMIS. Does everybody know what WHMIS stands for?
Work Hazard Material Information System.
Very good, very good. Alrighty, so I have implemented the WHMIS program here. All these lovely, and I don't expect any of you to read any of them because there are a lot. But every single chemical on site has an STS, okay? The STS gives you all the information about that chemical, everything you need to know about first aid procedures, the dangers of that chemical. So they are all right here in alphabetical order. And I do ask if anybody else brings any more chemicals on the site to make a note of it so that I can pull up the STS to be able to add that to the binders, okay? Also, our safety manual for the mission is here, if anybody has any questions about anything for the mission. And policies and procedures as well. I didn't do any of these up, Colin did them up and they're wonderful. So if anybody has any questions about any procedures, or if we don't have something, if there's a new procedure that's taking place and we don't have something in place, that's another thing that I need to make known so that I can write up a new procedure for that job, okay? All right, so right now we have 5 full-time, I think actually only 4 right now, acting on Paul, but that have taken their WHMIS training. So all receivers in the back have taken it because they're the ones that are first dealing with all chemicals that come in. They're reaching into boxes, there could be chemicals. So Linda graciously got hers thing. She didn't want to. So anyways, they're all fully trained and ready to go for that. Alrighty, so basically that's just going over everything. Oh, one other question. Does anybody know the acronym for setting off a fire extinguisher if you had a fire? It's the word that helps you remember how to use a fire extinguisher.
Pass.
Pass, right.
What was that?
You're good. Okay. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. So you pull the pin, aim at the fire, at the base of the fire. Always at the base of your fire. You squeeze the handle and use it in sweeping motion to put the fire out. So if you remember pass, it just helps you remember to use a fire extinguisher. Okay? Alrighty, so does anybody have any questions or concerns? No? If anybody ever does have any safety concerns, please do bring it to our attention, because the things you bring to our attention, that helps us then, we can implement, like I said, new policies and procedures, and we can rectify the issue before it gets out of hand or somebody gets hurt. Alright?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
We have lots of seniors here.
Yeah.
If one of them has a heart attack, what do you do?
Call 911
Because
immediately.
you don't want 15 people standing
No.
around that person.
No, exactly, so that's why I said it's only the first aiders that can administer CPR or do anything with that, with the victim before EMS comes. So like I said, right now, this is our 2 first aiders on site. So like, if any employees or volunteers have their first aid, please let me know and I will add you to the list if you're comfortable with that. If you're not, that's completely fine. But we had talked about, we were hoping in October to have all the full-time employees trained in their first aid, and it just hasn't worked out yet. So hopefully into November we'll have that, then we'll have 10 people with their first aid training, which will help immensely here. So yeah, thank you for that. Any other questions? No?
You're talking St. John's or
Just St. John's, just basic first aid. We just
Yeah.
need people to have basic first aid because we're so close to EMS and they shouldn't take them long to get here. So as long as we have people just basically trained to keep somebody alive, and yeah. That's why it's important to know how how to, if somebody is having a stroke, what the signs are for that, because that, I think is it 3 or 4 hours? 3 hours to get somebody to the hospital, if they can reverse that.
Where can you get
There's tons of places to do it. We have a lady who lives in Okotoks who's gonna actually come here to the building to do the first aid training for us. We do it's a 2-day training, but the first day is online, and then the second day is a 3-hour training, so.
Did you open it up to other people, like other volunteers like myself, maybe would like to come when you do that?
That would be a Colin question. It was Colin's decision just to do the full-time employees for first aid, so that would definitely.
So they charge per person?
Yeah, they charge per
Yeah, I
person.
mean, I pay it myself, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it.
Well, I mean, honestly, now that you guys know about it, absolutely, you can say, I would love to take the training, I'll pay for it myself, because we could do Wednesday evenings is about the only night that works for everybody. So they would come do 3 hours, and we could do 3 Wednesday nights if there's enough people that wanna sign up for that. So definitely you can speak to Colin on that one, yeah. Yes?
You spoke about fire and how the incident commander will take charge and get all the employees out. What about the customers in the store? Is there a set procedure for that?
That's, the incident commander has to, yeah. It's a lot of work, so what we need to do is Colin or Karen will be the incident commanders, and then maybe there will be people who are gonna be responsible underneath them. We'll set all of that up, and we're still working on getting everything in place right now, so then he could, one person in the back be responsible for the employees and volunteers, and then a couple people out front responsible to get the customers out safely. But as far as the muster point, it would only be employees and volunteers going to the muster point, and the people out front would just have to leave, okay? Another thing I forgot, when you're going to the muster point, if there is a fire, very, very important, where you guys sign in and out every day, that you are signing in and out. And the reason for that is, if we went to the muster point, first thing we're gonna do is get everybody there, lined up, call a roll call. You've left the building, you didn't sign out. So now we're gonna send somebody back into the building to try to find you, and you're not even here. So very, very important that you sign in and out every day. And a roll call is the one thing that has to happen at the muster point, so we do make sure that all employees and volunteers are safely out of the building. Yes,
Pardon me, I'm a cashier.
okay.
What if someone just drops with a heart attack or faints or something? What is the first thing I should do?
First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna call either Karen or Colin to the front immediately. And then we're going to, hopefully, I think Joe and Andrew are here most of the time, aren't they? No?
Andrew,
Yeah, I don't know.
Andrew leaves early most days.
She lives early most days.
She's not here.
So this is why I'm gonna push Colin a little bit to make sure we get the employees have their first aid training very, very soon. So then we have 10 people in the building that have their first aid training, so then at least there will be somebody here that can do the first aid training on the victim before EMS comes, so, yeah. Yeah, so first thing you would wanna do also is, like I said, call them and then call 911 immediately. Absolutely immediately. So it shouldn't take them long to get here. They should be here in under 10 minutes if they're not busy, right? So, yeah, okay?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
We're gonna have a fire drill to practice?
I'm hoping so. I've asked Colin if we could do that. So now with me working full-time, it would be on Saturday. And would have to be first thing in the morning before the store opens. But we won't use the fire alarms because then the fire department will come, so we've talked about that. So we'll use some air horns, and we'll use a few air horns around, and they're loud, they're very loud.
We can coordinate with the fire department and use the fire alarms. If they show up, they can set them off without sending the alarm to the fire station.
Oh,
So
can
it's
they?
the fire chief,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and he or she will come in and sort that out. So if you told them you want to have a full-fledged fire alarm and with sprinklers and everything, they'll help you with that.
oh,
So you can tell what the fire alarms sound like, because
okay, that's
people
better, yeah,
don't know.
absolutely.
They hear
Okay.
it.
Yeah, okay, I'll speak to Colin about that one. Cause I've asked him a couple times, I'm like, I would really like to do a mock drill, just so everybody has it in their head what happens if there's a fire in
And it's good
emergency,
to be
right?
testing that all the alarms are working, right?
Absolutely.
So you can
Yeah.
have a designated person with a vest on,
Yeah.
checking that the alarms are actually sounding as it's
Absolutely.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
They don't leave the building, they have to go around, keep their protection on and
Yeah,
check the alarm and every flash and that sort of thing.
absolutely.
But
Yeah,
the
I'll
fire
work on
chief
that
will
one.
help you with that.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Anything else?
Will there be, like, safety meetings or some kind of a gathering or something where people could get together and discuss items? Like, if an incident keeps happening, we're talking about near miss, an incident, how would that information be disseminated, how it's dealt with? How would you even identify it, like who's looking at the manual there to see
Right.
what's happening? If
Right.
there's a trend or not?
Absolutely. So I have talked to Colin about setting up a joint health and safety committee. And then there would be 6 members on that committee, and they would meet at every third Friday. And basically what the joint health and safety committee does is we go over any incidents that are happened, first aid, near misses, all that, discuss it, find the root cause, and try to implement things so that it doesn't happen again. And then that's where volunteers and employees can also give us their feedback on issues that they're seeing, any safety concerns that they have. Then we deal with it in the joint health and safety. So, like I said, it takes a while to get everything implemented, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have everything in place that needs to be in place for occupational health and safety, also for the mission. Anything else? Perfect, all right. Well, I thank you all today for coming and joining in the safety luncheon, and bless you all and stay safe. Thank you. Thank you.